Sentinel's 6-man Marved might just be the best smokes player in the world. Ever since he stepped into the starting lineup, this team has gone toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the world and have put on some dominant performances. But how could one player make this much of a difference? Can a controller main really make this type of an impact? And if so, how does he do it? Well, Sentinels are lucky to have Marved on their team. Time and time again, he has come up big when they needed him most. He's proven that he's a cornerstone player that can boost any team to a world championship level. Now watch and learn as I show you just what makes Marved a superstar player.
And I can always be one of the best.
This is the first franchise game Marved has played in a long time, and he has his work cut out for him in facing a lock-in finalist in Loud. A game like this would be perfect to prove to everyone that he's still got it.
And didn't think I was washed, so I appreciate you guys. I am not washed.
Sentinels start in a pretty spread 1-3-1 default, and are going to try and stick together as much as possible to keep the guns away from Loud's bonus buy. But Loud are getting aggressive. They know that teams love to spam B site, so they put 4 people here. What this will do is make Sentinels more cautious of going B in future rounds, and hopefully make them commit more utility. They also pushed up super far on pistol round, so the mental conditioning is already starting. Loud start the round by high-tiding the entrance of V main, flashing, and rushing past Sentinel's cascade. And they're not quiet, they're letting the attackers know that they're here. Sentinels take mid in response, and Loud flash through their high tide to punish Marved, who's all by himself. This looks identical to pistol round, but he isn't scared. As soon as he sees the turret, he knows what's going on. He answers back with a snakebite and a confident peek. If Loud did push through the wall, they'd be vulnerable for an easy kill. Now Loud just showed 4 players pushing up B, and they want to reposition to punish Sentinel's response. They cap their aggression with an alarm bot and a cascade and rotate out. But Marved isn't biting. No way Loud pushed this far into B lobby again after I just stopped 4 of them. So he pushes deeper into main. Sentinels continue their default into mid, but the defense has decided to stack A, and the attackers are grabbing the spike and headed that way. But not before Marved breaks the alarm bot. He then swings out even further, sees the turret, and breaks that as well. Now when you break any type of Sentinel's utility, you force the defense to rotate over and cover these potential gaps. So him doing this is big. Combine this pressure with a cascade that denies information, and you see the defense start to spread back out. Sentinels head back to A, but as soon as Killjoy starts jump spotting and doesn't see anything, the defense rotates back to A too. They need to hit the site now, or they'll miss the timing that Marved has made them.
Now down to the final 15, dash forward, second. Cuts up the angles, but still is going to be met with the entirety of Loud almost just here, ready and waiting, pushing forwards, in and out. Bit of a spray transfer, coverage is there, Spike needs to go down, and it does. How? How have they done that?
Because Sentinels took so long, Loud decided to get onto site and fight the attackers mid-execute. They tried to deny the plant, but Marv hit a really nice spray transfer on the dugout player and Aspas. He swung to the other side and sits down the Flowers player. And isn't it crazy how Optic were so good that they still managed to find a way into franchising? Okay, but Marv bailed out Sentinels big time this round, and they'll need more rounds like these from him if they want to take down this Brazilian juggernaut. Since Loud showed heavy B main pressure 2 of the first 3 rounds, they predict Sentinels are going to take mid control again, and they want to punish. They have Killjoy and Viper anchoring both sites, but have a 3-person push coming out of Art and are strapped with an op on Aspas. And their prediction is right. Sentinels are taking mid control. The attackers are set up in another 1-4 default with Killjoy's turret holding A. But they're defaulting mid in a really interesting way. They must have some form of read that Loud love to peek out of Art, because Killjoy places her alarm bot right at the bottom of stairs, and Sky, who starts shop, flashes right in front of it. They know defenders are going to be looking for the alarm bot, going like, oh hey, what's this? Ah, my eyes! So Zekin swings with the flash and takes down 2 aggressive Loud players. Now Marv sees all this mid aggression and thinks, their sights must be weak with this many people on mid. So he peeks out from ramp with his Lurk smoke. But Sadak knows he needs to make a play to even out the player advantage. He swings out from long and spots Marved. Can he be a hero?
Managed to dodge a flash somehow. Sadak is just determined to take that fight.
Marved played this perfect. Every time he repeaks into Sadak, he's repositioning behind ramp. This is exactly how you want to play around this area and what makes it dangerous. Now this kill makes it a 2 versus 5 and is the nail in the coffin for an important round 4. After a few big rounds from both teams, the game is tied up at 4 apiece. And this one is important. If Loud lose, they're going to get knocked onto an eco and give Sentinels a chance to go up big. And Sentinels also know how important this round is, so they take a timeout to talk advanced strategy. How come we haven't been spamming B? I saw this really cool video the other week that explained how this site is broken. Oh, alright, I guess we can hit B this round. Because Sentinels haven't been spamming B site, but have been defaulting mid a lot, Loud start in a heavy 1-2-2 mid setup. Sky is sending a bird out, Harbor is going to high tide B main, and they hope it's enough to convince Sentinels to come back to mid since they've shown heavy B main pressure before, exactly like this. The attackers start in a 3-1-1 setup. These three are going to scale up B main and let these two lurk mid late with the same turret holding A. Sentinels wait out this early utility and flush it out with a Skybird, some jump spots, and a Cascade. Sentinels scale up B site. Sassy pops his Seekers, his dog, and this forces Loud to back off. But Marved is ready to pinch.
Stun actually hits onto the own dog as well, slowing it all the way down. Fight to be taken. So perfect timing. 2. Absolutely insane, and Aspas is pressured. Dash is active, inside the smoke, up draft, round the side, trying to break the ankles, but just too little. Really?
Marv picked the most opportune time to start his Lurk. He waited for the defense to start shooting the Seekers before peeking out. By using triggers like these to start your Lurks, you'll find a ton more success in them. You basically need to wait for the defense to be distracted or occupied, and then swing out to shoot them in the back. Not only that, but this is exactly how you're supposed to B-split. I talked about this in my spam B-site video, but in order to split this site, you need B long control first. Otherwise, the defense can isolate one side from the other. Now, because of Marv's perfect timing, Sentinels managed to pinch Loud in alley. This play from Sentinels forced down Loud to an eco, and they give themselves a really good chance to create an even bigger lead.
The smoke up draft, round the side, trying to break the ankles, but just too little. Really can't shut it down. The Cove will not be able to stick that.
Now, despite losing last round and being forced onto an eco, Loud still have one solid win condition: Aspas and his knives. And if you're a fan of professional Valorant, you've seen him make some stupidly incredible miracle plays with his Bladestorm before. They start this round in a 1-3-1 setup with both anchors on sites, and they want to take the fight to Sentinels by brawling in mid. Sentinels know that Loud don't have a lot of money, so they stick together and take the long-range duels that B-Long offers. They should be okay this round. Loud start the round by high-tiding mid, flashing and triple swinging from Art, but no one's here. Sentinels are charging up B site behind a Cascade. They scale with the dog and both walls, Def drops a Cove, and they get a free plant. Now, usually I'm pretty comfortable when teams plant for long and play for spam, but back on round 7, Loud showed us they have some crazy retake potential. The defense starts to rotate over and don't feel comfortable flanking. They have a lot of faith in their retakes. Les tries to make a play and barely misses Zekin's head. He narrowly escapes to make sure they still have Viper util for the retake. Loud scale up behind a Cascade, and Aspas is hungry. If he gets a kill, this could snowball out of control very quickly.
Up draft. Aspas trying to take that high ground angle. Dash active! What is that from Marved? A shot to land, a shot to hit. Presence of mind not there, but sprayed down.
But Marv plucks Aspas right out of thin air. Every single time Loud try and make a play to get back into the round, he shuts them down so hard. Without Aspas, this just leaves Loud with a bunch of Sheriffs and a Stinger. And they do some decent economy damage with those guns, but Sentinels have so many credits that it doesn't even matter. Marv goes hunting for his ecos, but this is actually pretty smart. He gets the last kill and has his Viper Pit online for next round. Sentinels are showing us something completely different this round. This time, they have Marv solo taking a main, and his other 4 teammates are heading up mid through Art. This is an A split. And like I've mentioned in previous videos, teams love going A with their ultimates. But Loud have the read. They have their aggressive trio fighting A main, with Killjoy and Viper anchoring down the other half of the map. Loud open up with a high tide, Aspas pops his dash, and they've taken A main by pushing past Sentinel's Cascade and Skybird. But Marv recognizes that Loud love to take space with their harbor wall. Combine that with the fact that this is the first time they've done this in A main, he backs off. Because if he dies, this A split is ruined. Okay, so I wasn't originally going to put this in, but this part of the VOD really pissed me off. If you listen closely, I'm pretty sure someone in the crowd is trying to tell Marved not to push through the wall.
He's just being dominant.
100 Thieves cleared the air later that day by posting this tweet on Twitter, but like, come on. Don't ruin the fun for everyone. If you're going to these lands, don't do this. It's not cool. Regardless, Sentinels scale out of mid behind Killjoy's turret and they slowly make their way through Art. But Loud recognize this gap. The pings start coming in, and you see Viper give up B-Link, Killjoy picks it up, and Viper holds A-Con. Now because Sentinels have only made noise A, Loud have the read. Cowanson senses this Art pressure coming and gives up the site and joins his teammate in A main. Now here is where we see the perfect play from Marv. He recognizes that there's a high chance that Loud have taken A main. If he can wait for his teammates to come in and pinch just like he did in that B split, they'll have a much easier time winning this round. He needs to stay alive.
But he's there, all of A main is taken, and well, they want to reclear it with the dog still. There's a gap, it's down to the reactions, and Zekken wins it. The young gun as well, taking names once more.
His teammates eventually wrapped A main, but Aspas took down Marv. Now I know Marv couldn't get his, but because he held this part of the map for this long, it bought his teammates enough time to pinch and at least get one. And that one was really important. With it, they know that there are 3 people in A main, and fighting for this is going to be hard, especially against an op. So Sentinels recognize that Dugout is probably free, or worst case, has one person there, and they take the space. They plan for backside, but Sadak takes down Pankata and Art. Sentinels just lost another chunk of map control. Then the high tide drops, and Def gets blasted in the side of the head. Sentinels had perfect reactions this round, but it's a 3 versus 2. And Zekken knows they're being pinned down by the op, so he needs to make a play. He dashes backside to make a distraction, scoop up the spike, and Sassy swings off it and takes down Aspas. Sadak popped his lockdown, but he has the read. He knows Sentinels are sprinting to B, and he's trying to beat them to the spot. Cowanson also leaves A main and rushes to B main to try and catch a flank, but Zekken is too smart. Before planting, he remembers that somebody was A main, so he waits just a few seconds for Cowanson to peek and punishes him. It's now a 2 versus 1, but it isn't over yet. Loud's IGL is still alive, and he knows the setup. He hears Zekken planting behind Jenny and saw Sassy flash from halls. He needs to isolate his fights if he wants to win this round.
Flash around the side, doesn't spot it. Sadak was playing anti-kill. 1-2! Unreal!
Sadak uses the pillar mid-sight to separate the 2 remaining Sentinels players, and they made great decisions this round, but Sadak played the clutch too perfectly. Sentinels ended the half 7-5, and put themselves in a really good spot to close out the map thanks to Marv's decision making. And we're about to see some more of it. Now B hasn't been working too well for Loud, and they're starting to run out of ideas. But they have Skyseekers online this round, and plan to hit A site with 4 members, and Killjoy's going to Lurk. Loud opened the round with a flash and some jump peeks. Sky could only afford a sheriff, so her playing like this is okay. Plus, she's only going to be using her dog for the team, so this is why she doesn't really need a gun. But Marv hears all this noise and immediately backs off to Flowers. The attackers scale up, Sky whips out her Seekers, and they hit the site. But before they even have a chance to set foot, Marv launches his snakebite and completely snuffs out this hit. Him and Pankata start spamming through the smoke, and Loud have no choice but to cancel. The decision making from these 2 side anchors was perfect. They know their job, and because they did it so well, the rest of their team can run over and get a good stack in. Now because they're all here, Sentinels decide to flood in the backside and spam the hell out of the planter through this brick wall. By the way, this is what makes dugout control so important on this site. If your team is just running it up A, you need this space. Otherwise, you'll get spammed like crazy when you plant, and you'll all be funneled into A main and not have a good time in the post plant. A main itself is just simply not enough space. So since they couldn't get dugout control, Loud are in a tough spot with no escape route.
Being sprayed through, and it really does feel like a coin flip. Anyone's game, the counter spam right through the wall. Who can make the most of it? Player advantage.
They can't get this plant down without getting spammed to Kingdom Come, so they try and come up with a plan. They wait for Cowanson's bird to recharge, tap the spike, flash, and try to punish while they're spamming. But I mean, like, charging at them with a sheriff? Let's just see how it works out.
Trying to bait the positions and a re-approach round the corner. Kawasaki doesn't have a rifle. What is going on? The turret's even getting a piece of the pie. Kills being claimed here. Another tap of it. Sentinels are just picking them apart. All the way through, and Def with 3.
Loud got suffocated on site. And this was because of Marved. I'll say it again, just because you didn't get any kills, that doesn't mean you didn't have an impact on the outcome of the round. so Sentinels were able to close out Pearl in a dominating 13-6 fashion. But Marved has had major impact on literally every map he's played in so far. I'm serious, go watch his games. So to only show you rounds from Pearl wouldn't be doing him justice. So now we move into a close game on Haven, Sentinels map pick. And this round is important. If Sentinels lose this one, they're going to have to save. Even though they're only buying half armor instead of full, their money just isn't that strong. And as a side note, a lot of teams are only buying half armor until their economy is in a comfortable spot. And to be honest, I think this is how Riot wanted us to buy around armor, not just spam full shields. By doing this, you can usually buy a couple extra full buys throughout the course of a half. Armor aside, Sentinels start in an obvious mid-default with 4 people here and Marv holding C. Loud want to punish this mid-default with Aspas walking out of B and Killjoy holding his window. They also have Sadak anchoring C and Sky and Harbor playing for information on A. Aspas peeks down towards Haybale and spots Sentinel's Killjoy turret. He's going to get spotted, but he waits for the last possible second. But he can't find a kill. Sentinels walk out towards Garage, but Sadak must have some form of read and walks on C. I mean, I don't know what his read is, but what he doesn't know is that Marved is waiting for him.
Now overpeak by SEN before the turret's active, and look at Marved up to his own.
With the first blood secured, Sentinels arrow inside Garage to take the space, but no one breaks the Killjoy turret. They just make noise and leave it. I feel like I've seen this episode before. Regardless, Loud are trying to get proactive and find a way back into the round. Aspas rotates to C site to try and punish Sentinels taking the potential space, and their A players come back to mid to re-clear some map control or find a kill. They send a Skybird, but it tags nothing. And Sentinels are still trying to pretend they're taking Garage with their fault line and smoke, but with no one breaking the util, this just doesn't make any sense. Here, could one of you guys link this video in the top right to their coach or something? Thanks. Okay, so Sentinels feel like they did enough in mid to sell it and head back to A. But while Pancata is holding this map control, he just spots Tui's, and I think he saw Pancata. Cowansin goes to check it out and maybe find an opening back into the round.
Is there going to be any call? Maybe not, doesn't even need any help.
He didn't expect Pancata in this corner, but because he made it all the way up into window and none of Killjoy's bots are down, A is likely the play. This fatal flaw Sentinels made in one of my earlier videos is coming back to haunt them. But Marv has played it patient, and as soon as Cowansin dies in mid, he starts his C Lurk. And he tells his team right before they hit the contested site, "Hey guys, C is open, come back to me." So Sentinels immediately dart out of A and head towards Marved on C. Now because there's no noise being made, Loud think that something is up. Les heads back to C to try and re-clear or beat the Lurk timing. But what he doesn't know is that it's way too late.
Loud fans will like and well, give him a taste of his own medicine, why not? Hold the fire for just a bit of time, seeing if he can get the most out of it. Stars drop down though in 2 years. Okay, no one in that one.
30 seconds left.
Marv looks so clean.
Marv kills Les, smoke spawn, and Def fault lined the run out in case anyone was trying to funnel out. Marv capitalizes and saves Sentinels from the same mistake they've made before in this map. They are lucky to have him, otherwise that round could have ended a lot worse.
Wow, thanks, Spider-Man.
Everybody gets one.
Okay, so Sentinels couldn't close out Haven against Loud, but it was close. Now this takes us to map 3 on Ascent. Loud got out to an early 3-0 lead, but if Sentinels want a chance at beating the potential world champs, they need this round. They start in a 1-3-1 default and plan on breaking this Killjoy utility in mid and force the defense to spread thin. Loud are in a standard 2-1-2 setup, with Aspas trying to get a first blood in mid. Sentinels start the round by not smoking Catwalk, but instead using Sova's drone to peek it instead. They tag Aspas and force him off the angle. He scurries away to top mid to reposition, and Cowansin recons mid for him, but Marv smokes him out. Aspas gives up and heads back to Catwalk, but Cowansin plans on spamming mid as soon as this alarm bot goes off. Sentinels use KO's knife to clear out market and inch closer to the alarm bot. But do Sentinels actually break the Killjoy utility this time?
Yeah.
But in this series, it just feels like it's been incredible the Sentinels even got to that point. We're certainly hoping for something.
Dude, like what's their problem? I don't know why, but they hate breaking Killjoy bots. Okay, so since they didn't break it, Loud feel comfortable to set up in a 2-3 setup, and little do Sentinels know, they're heading into the 3. They regroup near A main and find an insane timing on Tui's and get ready to hit the site.
It's the perfect timing. Smoke though dropped down, there was something to indicate that one. Paranoia as well cuts its way through the dart. Doesn't quite reach him. Down into hell here, they're not dealing with these players effectively enough, and still opportunities to take these fights, but eventually...
Sentinels took the site despite there being 3 there, and Marved cleared out the anchor in hell. But with the door broken, spam coming in, Zekin getting tagged by Sova's Aldrone, and the spike being planted for hell, Sentinels feel suffocated. They are being collapsed on, and Marved needs to make a play. So he Omen ults into mid and sticks it. Loud decide to ignore him and start the retake early. They do not have time to clear him out. But the pressure is there. Trades start going out on site, Marved walks his way into heaven, swings, and just misses Jet and Sova. It all comes down to Marved and Pancata. But the spike isn't planted for Pancata. Marved has to step up.
But he doesn't get the kill. Left just astounded, bewildered. 1 kill gone for him, spraying it down, knows where he is, could be sticking, forced to overpeak it down, but Pancata saves the day.
Marv's Heaven reposition won Sentinels this round. Again, I don't think there's another Smokes player better than this guy. Sentinels start this round in a 1-1-3 default and plan on taking A main to feed Sassy and Ult Orb, but Loud aren't letting them have this orb for free. They have both anchors on B, but Omen, Jet, and KO are all fighting for this A main space. Who's going to win this battle for A main? Sentinels start the round by flashing over the top, Sova darting, and Zekin wide swinging. With only 2 pieces of utility, Sentinels have the space. So we thought. Sadek tells Tui's to flash back, he lobs his molly in this cubby, and Zekin is forced to burn his dash, and A main belongs back to the defense. But Def responds by flashing through the Omen smoke and sticks his KO knife in the wall. Loud have finally decided that Sentinels have paid enough for this orb and give up the space. But while all that fighting was going on, Marv managed to lurk all the way up into this little cubby outside of Catwalk. From this position, he can hear all mid rotates and catch an insane timing, so he calls his teammates to head back to B. And Loud think they have the read. Because the alarm bot wasn't broken and Killjoy still has both nanos up, they feel really comfortable retaking B. So how do Sentinels deal with all this utility? Well, right before they went into B main, Def somehow had the read that Killjoy would be in market and tags her with his knife. This has created a timing for Sentinels in the round, and they need to capitalize. Marv smokes from across the map, they recon, and start their exec. But remember what I said, Marv can hear anyone who rotates through tree quickly. He hears KO, then Omen, and swings out.
Make those nano swarms, and look at Marv just doing what he does best.
This 1 kill creates so much pressure for the defense, and now Marv can reposition to anywhere. Les rotates back through mid to see if he can catch Marv exiting Catwalk, but he ends up flanking instead. Marv paranoids the enemy spawn and breaks the glass. The amount of possible spots he can be in now are literally endless, but Loud know they can't waste time finding this guy, so they choose to ignore him and cross that bridge when they get there. He repositions to mid and walks his way up market. But what Les doesn't realize is that he just walked away too far from his alarm bot. It deactivates, and he's just given Marv a golden opportunity to yoink this round from Loud.
These kills that Marv's able to find right now, it's all over the place. Alarm bot spawned in, should be aware of it, Les was watching, but no way!
In all the important swing rounds, Marv has always had such a huge impact. Now, Sentinels didn't win the series, but they look like a completely revamped team with him on it, and I think he feels the same way.
And Marv, with this opportunity to be able to see you play on the big stage, I want to give one last chance for you to say something to all the fans who have been rooting for you.
I appreciate you guys, and shout out to the ones who actually believed in me and didn't think I was washed. So I appreciate you guys. I am not washed, and yeah, I'm here to stay.
Awesome.